welcome here. Semifinal match between Trad Harney and Drake Sasser, which you have to think has been a success for this car. Both players traveling here from Alabama. They were car mates for the event. You always hope when you're driving with someone to an out-of-state tournament, they say, hey, well, I'll meet you in the top 4. That's got to feel good.
The goal is to meet in the finals, but this is acceptable.
Right.
If you can lock this one up, you'll definitely take it.
Drake Sasser has both a classic and open win on the tour this last season. Both were in Legacy. This is our first time in Modern with Titan Shift.
Yeah.
We'll start out. Drake, Chad, Harney on the play, Faithless Looting. And a card I'm spying, and we'll want to look at more here, is the card Burning Inquiry. Generally, that card's just considered a big mess. It's random. You see right now he discards 2 Bloodghasts.
Right.
Hold on. That's scary.
That's really powerful.
So the card Burning Inquiry generally is like a one-side, pretty whatever for your opponent. It's actually just a very good card against Titan Shift.
Right. Sometimes you just make them discard one element of their deck. Yeah.
Flameblade Adept to go. Chad not pulling the trigger on that Inquiry. That's a big miss. Drake's going to take advantage of it. Here's Colony Heart Expedition. The problem is Titan Shift needs to keep lands, ramp, and finishers. When you Burning Inquiry them, a lot of times they just don't get the right composition back.
Right.
And here we'll go, Burning Inquiry. This is going to pump Flameblade Adept as well. So the question first is, did Chad hit his second land? And is Drake's hand a mess?
The draw for turn for Chad was a hollow one, so he's hoping to keep that and also have drawn a land here and to keep that too.
So we could get an attack for 4, 2 Bloodghasts, and a hollow one?
Yeah. We can get a lot.
Remember that the broken draws are good?
The ceiling is quite high.
1, Scape Shift, Prismatic Omen, Sakura Tribelder. 3 so it's ramp, finisher. Depending on what Drake's hand was, it's possible a number was done on it, and Chad hit on every account.
Yes.
Here's a land.
Maintain the hollow one.
Here's 2 Bloodghasts. I think you want to cast the hollow one. He could Inquiry again. I think you want to get the hollow one out of your hand first, though. Adept will swing in for 4. Hollow one will be made. Drake to 16. Now we have some pressure.
Right. Yeah, saving that Inquiry for next turn.
Let's see. Drake at 16. Even with Inquiry, it's only 12 points of damage from Chad.
Right.
Only 12.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
I don't believe that Drake will be able to win the game in time to race that.
Yeah, well, he has 2 main deck Sweltering Suns. You'd want to see one in the hand.
Yeah. Once we're at the point where Drake is at 10 or less.
Doesn't matter.
Right. The sweeper is just kind of whatever. The Bloodghast just come back with haste.
Yeah, it really had to be this turn.
Yeah.
And if he's tapping 2 for Explorer, I don't think it is. He will have a lot of mana here. Explorer can get the Colony Heart. He could make a Primeval Titan on turn 4 pretty easily here. But I don't actually think it wins.
Yeah, the Titan has to be able to attack to close here.
Right, here's Mountain off Explorer. Here's Misty Rainforest. Okay, so we have land 4, and Colony Heart is lands 5, 6. You can get Cinderglade with the fetch land, and Primeval Titan, when it enters the battlefield, means you'll have a possibility. So, right, this gets you up to 6 lands. You could, if Drake has a Valakut in his hand, next turn he could make land 7 as Valakut, cast Primeval Titan, get 2 mountains, double trigger, and he would have 4 bolts to throw around. He could actually clear the board.
Okay.
He needs to clear the board. He needs to naturally have another Valakut in his hand, or this second Colony Heart Expedition can do in a pinch.
Yeah, that's a big game.
But remember how Chad's going to cast a Burning Inquiry? Maybe the Titan goes away.
Well,
you never know.
Actually, Chad found a Black Source, and he has a Collective Brutality. Did he just assemble lethal? So we have 9 at our base. We get 2 points off the Brutality, and we get to discard 4 or 5 cards.
He doesn't have only 4 cards. So to play the 3rd land, double Escalate Brutality and Burning Inquiry, he doesn't have enough cards to do it. He can only single.
4 is all you need, right? 9, 10, 11, 4. That's 15.
Yeah. Wait, I think that's 1 short. Well, let's find out.
9 plus 2 off the Brutality. Discard. You escalate it 1 time, and then you discard 3 more cards. I believe this is it.
So the Adept pumps 4.
Yeah, so the base 4 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1, 9, right? Brutality makes 11.
All right.
You discard 1 card for the Brutality. That's 12.
3 for the inquiry. That's Drake went to 15. Right, he cracked a fetch.
Right.
Right. And here's Collective Brutality. Discarding a Faithless Looting.
I'm going to
discarding X-Lang with a Bloodghast.
I would not discard the inquiry.
Yeah.
That would not be good.
That would lose. Then we look at the hand. There was the Scape Shift in it. He'll take the Scape Shift and drain for 2, but it doesn't matter. Drake's not untapping.
Yeah.
You can't get enough lands in play to double trigger to get that Valakut online, but here's Burning Inquiry. This is lethal.
Yeah. Yeah, that's going to seal it.
And Drake's counting 2. He's at 13. All right. Add up to 2. Make that 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 13. Chad Harney takes game 1.
Yeah, no reason to resolve that inquiry. Yeah, that's on the table.
You know, and it's a good draw for Drake Sasser. He missed the Sweltering Suns, which against very powerful draws, that's just how it's going to play out.
Yep.
So, Titan Shift down a game. Let's look at the sideboard. 3 Obstinate Baloth, 3 Damping Sphere, 2 Anger the Gods, 2 Broken Bond, 2 Commune with Lava, Engineer Explosives, Fracturing Gust, and Caustic Caterpillar, all available for Drake Sasser.
So you want to have these Obstinate Baloths, try to mess with those burning inquiries. Also just, ramping to that 4-4 gain 4 on turn 3. Pretty reasonable in a matchup like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 Anger the Gods, they are quite powerful in the matchup. Flamewake Phoenix, Bloodghast, great cards. You want to exile those.
Yeah, I mean, we saw how much he wanted the Sweltering Suns that game. Anger does the same thing.
Yeah.
Even better.
You can reach for some stuff that deals with hollow ones. You have these Broken Bonds. They're okay. If you had an Ancient Grudge, that would be way more inviting.
Yeah, because with Ancient Grudge, that means they might Burning Inquiry them into the yard for you, and then you just feel great.
Right. In general, though, you want to go light on that kind of element. Mostly the Baloths and the Angers.
Rematch still online. Game 1 finished on the other board as well. Zan Sayed up a game on Tan and Grace.
Finally loses game 1 in these rough matchups.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, he stole a couple game 1s leading up to this, but he's going to have to take 2 on sideboard games against Infect here.
So Chad's deck out of the board does not have much here. He has 3 Leylines, 3 Grim Lavamancers, 3 Fatal Push, 2 Explosives, 2 Thoughtseize, 2 Ancient Grudge.
If you reach for anything, it's those 2 Thoughtseize.
Right.
They're pretty reasonable.
Yeah, and I know the Obstinate Baloth's being boarded in. Both players know about it. I still think some players have asked, do you cast Burning Inquiry once you know they have 3 Baloths? My answer to that is yes.
Yeah, that's what your deck does.
It's what your deck does.
It's random. They don't always discard it even if they have it.
Right. And as I mentioned before, just the card itself is good here.
Yeah. Sometimes, they might still just discard their lands.
Yeah, it's... Right, so most decks, it's like they have lands and spells, and sometimes you knock them off one of them. But because Drake's deck has 3 things instead of 2, it's just... You knock them off part of it so much, it's 3 times as often, if not more.
I mean, just think about how far from the general rules of Magic you have to stray to say, I am happy to have Burning Inquiry in my deck, right?
Yeah.
A 4-4 is not enough to take me off of that line. We came a long way to put Burning Inquiry in our deck. You got to cast it. If you register that card, you got to cast it.
Yeah.
Don't be a coward.
You know what's going to happen? You're going to discard your hollow one and their Obstinate Baloth. And then you're going to be like, man, what did I do?
Sometimes you eat the bear and sometimes he eats you.
Who eats bears?
It's a figure of speech.
That's...
Sam Lewis.
Where are we going to go? We're going to hunt for some bear meat.
Famous character actor Sam Lewis said it in a Coen Brothers film. Maybe you've heard of it, The Big Lebowski. Ergo, it must be very wise. If a guy with a mustache that large says something, you listen.
Mustaches do grant authority. This is true.
Yes. I've definitely had mixed results trying to Thoughtseize these Valakut decks.
Okay.
Sometimes you just break up the whole hand, right? Like they have 1 ramp spell, they have 1 payoff. But it's always on the top of their deck. The deck has two kinds of spells, right?
Yeah, it's... I haven't said, like I said, 1 Thoughtseize is not particularly good. Like, lots of them are good.
Yeah. Yeah, the decks that are full on Inquisition and have Thoughtseize backup, those decks can pull you apart.
You know, when they're like Thoughtseize, Tarmogoyf, 2 more Thoughtseizes, I lose to that. It's 1 Thoughtseize and then hanging out, and that's fine.
I think I said the guy's name wrong. It's Sam Elliott. I apologize if I said that wrong. Going back to that mustache. probably more important than the matchup.
All right. Well, Drake will be on the play here for game number 2. Hoping for one of those forced search for tomorrows, usually in the opener. Among the best cards in the deck, the only card you can really ramp with on turn 1.
Yeah, the games where you have turn 1 Suspend Search, turn 2 Sakura Tribe Elder, you're really off to the races.
Mulligans for both players.
Hollow One, definitely
so much
happier
better.
to be mulliganing, yeah.
They don't even care. Titan Shift hates mulliganing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Titan Shift is looking for this composition, and it's also a critical mass sort of thing.
You need 7 lands.
Yeah. Whereas Hollow One is like, I want a discard spell. I want something I'm happy to discard.
It's like, yeah, the right burning inquiry, and
yeah,
and I'm off to the races.
Anything could happen. And once you get to 6 or certainly 5, a hand could have no payoffs in an inquiry. It's like, well, sometimes you get there. Going to be pretty important for Sasser to find a good 6 here. He really does not want to go to 5. For Harney, 6 is great. He is much more capable of mulliganing again. So I'm getting a peek at Harney's hand. Looks heavy on mountains. There is a Hollow One. Not enough other stuff, though. He will go to 5. Sasser good on 6. It's a sigh of relief. Plenty of pretty explosive 6-card hands in the deck. How often do you win when you mulligan to 5 with a Valakut?
If I get a 3-for-1 or a nice Anger of the Gods, it's fine. I can do it.
Sure,
that's
like
about it.
Matchups where your sweepers are good is kind of what you're looking at.
Yeah. I mean, you're not winning quick. You don't have enough cards.
Yeah. With Hollow One, I tend to win enough when I mull to 5.
Oh, yeah. You need your opponent to do nothing. And sometimes you have to help them do nothing. You have to draw an interactive card, which you don't have very many of. Or their hand has to be just a real bust-up. And now here we are, Drake Sasser on the play. And we'll see a Faithless Looting from Harney. He's on 5 cards, drawing... Looks like he has Goblin Lore, Burning Inquiry, some lands, maybe nothing else. It's okay.
Yeah, there's a Bloodghast. That's something. I mean, you need more than that in this matchup.
Yeah, if all his pressure is his Bloodghast, then Titan Shift will go ahead and catch up from there.
Yeah.
And second land tapped for Drake. Flamewake Phoenix on Harney's side. Like to get down into the yard.
Yeah, this one could end up being huge. Could end up being nothing. Let's cast a discard spell.
Yeah, he's got a Goblin Lore and a Burning Inquiry. Likely going to go for the Lore first. He still can remember the trigger.
Yeah, some discussion on triggers. So there was the land. He turned his land sideways. That's, nothing has really happened.
We'll ask the judge on it. Tapping lands does not use the stack, so it's likely the judge will see.
Yeah.
Yep. They're just asking to see if he gets the trigger.
I thought you said these guys were car mates.
Yeah, I would.
What gives?
And they like winning.
Yeah. So they're going to review here. Of course, ultimately this game largely hinges on that Burning Inquiry or that Goblin Lore producing something big. The Bloodghast definitely isn't going to win the game by itself. There are very few matchups where that would be the case. All right. It's ruled that not enough has happened. Trigger is still good.
And here's Goblin Lore from Chad Harney. Drawing 4, discard 3 random.
Had a Flamewake Phoenix in hand. Nothing else he actively wanted to discard.
The takes turn there. That's adorable. Discarding.
Lost that Burning Inquiry.
Yeah.
That's a little bit rough.
He got a bunch of lands here.
Found a Street Wraith. He could go looking for a hollow one with that.
And he'll just say go. Not going to cycle it just yet. Back over to Drake Sasser. Turn 3. Just building up critical mass. Right now, he is not under a lot of pressure.
Suppose that Chad currently has the Faithless Looting in the graveyard. If you miss on the hollow one on one card, then you're punished for cycling the Street Wraith. Or on the following turn, you can flashback the looting, use the Street Wraith, have your card for turn. You have way more looks at the hollow one.
Drake's got a Summoner's Pact for Sakura Tribelder here, and then sacrifice it. That's a very aggressive line. You generally see players take that if he's got a ton of Primeval Titans.
Yeah. A hand heavy on payoffs, light on mana sources.
Well, you end up paying 6 for a Rampant Growth this way, so it's pretty punishing.
Yeah, that is steep. Could possibly be heavy on Obstinate Balos as well.
Blackleaf Cliffs from Harney. He wants land 3. We're going to go for, looks like, Flameblade Adept and Bloodghast, and he will pass. No real reason to attack here. That's the
Sakura Tribelder, exactly, because of the Summoner's Pact.
Yeah, sure hope he sacrifices it.
Yeah.
And then he pays for the Pact. All lands tapped.
Now, the attack here, you know, there's theoretically a universe where Sasser just trades the Tribelder, but...
Now, some very medium beats going to attack next turn. Chad will get 5 damage in. Maybe more.
Well, he still has Faithless Looting in the graveyard. He has that Street Wraith, so it'll be more than 5.
Oh, I do like that. So by keeping the Street Wraith, if he draws a land, he can actually bring back Flamewake Phoenix while... So that would be enough cycling to get that Adept up to 4 power?
Yeah.
That's...
neat.
Don't mind. Yeah, that's neat. Did Drake hit land 5? Looks like he has.
Yeah.
And 6. Here is Misty Rainforest. And Drake will pass. Still at a very healthy 20. Chad has to be concerned here. Here's Hollow One in his hand. He has a big turn, but he has a lot of work left to do. It means Drake's still at a full 20. All right, let's flashback Faithless Looting. Draw 2, discard 2. Draws another Hollow One and a land. This is just the best.
So I think in terms of sequencing, you're supposed to cycle the Street Wraith
first. You're right. Because now
he has to discard the land to maintain the Street Wraith, and he needs a 3rd card to cast the Hollow Ones for free.
So he has to discard a Hollow One?
He's pitching Hollow One to guarantee that he can do the thing. That's a minor misstep, but it's going to cost him here. You know, he could get greedy and discard the land. I think I'm more into that. I would rather have the Hollow Ones to cast 2 this turn.
All right. Cycle Street Wraith. If he hits the land at all, it's still fine. He's at 18. Draws. It's another Flamewake, so that's going to cost him a Phoenix.
That would be a good one to discard, too.
Yeah, that didn't work out well. He swings in, though, for 8. He still is going to present lethal next turn. So Drake down to 12. And here are 2 Hollow Ones. It wasn't without cost. Chad went to 18 that turn, which is a very relevant difference against Titan Shift.
Yeah, that 2 life, that gets you into that 7-land Scape Shift territory. Also, it's divisible by 3 for Primeval Titans, if we can dig our way through this.
But on the board, we do have 13 power from Chad, so he has presented a lethal attack.
Yep.
We'll force Drake to have a finisher here.
There's a Flamewake Phoenix in the graveyard as well.
And on our backup match, Zan Sayed on to the finals with Infect, a 2-0 winner over Tannen Grace.
He was bound to start losing the bad matchups sooner or later.
The matchups just kept getting worse and worse.
Really good run for Tannen. Congrats on the top 4 finish, though. Couldn't quite cut through 3 bad matchups in a row.
If Chad wins this, we'll have a rematch of our that 1-2 rematch that they've had all day, all tournament.
Yeah.
I think they played in round 8 yesterday. No one really losing sense. Land 6 from Drake. He needs a Primeval Titan. He's got a Primeval Titan. And all the lands are mountains, so Valakut Mountain gets 2 triggers for him.
He's also above 10 life.
All he has to do in this matchup is survive until the untap.
Yep. Gets to take care of that Flameblade Adept.
Right.
Probably point the other one at one of those Blood Gas, and because he's at 11, or actually no, he gets Valakut Mountain, same difference.
He's going to use both triggers to shoot down a hollow one here. Don't mind that.
Yeah, I suppose with the 2 hollow ones attacking, you only get the block 1 where the Adept is reasonably likely to not be attacking for as much. Chad, he's not going to be able to remove the Primeval Titan.
No, deck's not really built to do that. And it's also not built to survive an attack next turn from Primeval Titan. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't think he has enough damage, Ryan. Just Flaming Phoenix and land in hand. He can get his Phoenix back from the yard and cast the other one.
Yeah, I think he's only in for 9. Then pretty easy to piece together how he's dead on the crackback.
He's in for 9. Is it 9? He's gonna end up too short.
Yeah, and there was a Flamewake Phoenix that could have been brought back last turn. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, that sequencing cost him really big.
Drake gonna steal one here. Unless Chad can find a way to get those last 2 points in. He is. You mentioned, yeah. He blocked the large creature. It's 2 Phoenix, 2 Bloodghast, and 1 Adept. That's 9. It is not 11 damage. So Chad will go to attack. Here comes the team minus hollow one.
Doesn't really make a difference.
Block a Bloodghast. Take 5. Jake goes to 6. I mean, the question is if Chad can survive an attack. The answer is almost always no.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see it in action here, but I mean, he's dead to a land and a Farseek. Titan, actually just a land. Titan attacks, gets the last 2 Valakuts. Now all your lands deal 14. Oh, how about a Prismatic Omen? 12. Oh,
yeah, go find 2 Valakuts.
Each of them deals 12.
Hits you for 1,000.
It's just 24 damage on triggers by themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah, take 24.
Yeah.
On to game 3.
Any land or ramp spell does it there too. Well, not Colony Heart Expedition, but
hate that card, man.
Most of the deck. Most of the deck does it. All right.
So Drake takes game 2 there. He'll be back on the draw, however, for game 3. Remember, that was a 5-card hand from Chad Harney.
And the game could have been won.
Yeah, could have been won. He still had some pretty decent draws here. We haven't seen an Anger of the Gods or a Sweltering Suns from Drake yet.
Gotta figure that at least the Angers are in for that exiling element.
I think all of them are. I mean,
yeah.
Flameblade Adept is a very powerful card in this matchup. From the Titan side, you really want to get rid of it.
Right. Unfortunate for Drake, some of the times, I guess never mind, just had trouble reading his writing. He does have 3 lightning bolts, so that is a good way to deal with the Flameblade Adepts. And it's pretty important.
Yeah, between the bolts, Angers, Suns, and Baloths, there's an argument that you don't need all of that. You don't want to overload. I actually think he can board all of them in here, though. The heavy ramp version that Drake's on doesn't need as much ramp as it has. That doesn't mean you won't take it, but it means that the number of ramp spells you can cut in board games is higher.
Right.
He's still functional.
I imagine with this configuration, it's pretty easy to trim Escape Shift as well. Yeah,
in this matchup, I don't know how much I'd want to do that because you need to. I generally turn scape shifts in matchups where the make land drops till they die plan works, which I'm not sure this one is. It feels like he needs to survive till about turn 4, and then he needs to win.
Sure. Scape shift just just needs you to have so many of your ramp spells, though. Just seems like it gets worse if that's what you're trimming instead.
Yeah, well, he has extras. So we'll see if he can...
Yeah, he registered the full 4, which is heavy on that card.
Yeah, or on the ramp spells. So the Colony Heart, what he's done with this, as opposed to the ones you normally see on like Magic Online, is normally on like the ones on online you'll see some cards like Courser or a Reclamation Sage or some more removal in the main. He's actually just replaced them with extra ramp. So like he has these Colony Hearts, and he didn't cut his other ramp for Colony Heart. He just played it all.
Yeah. You don't have to sell me on cutting Colony Heart in the sideboarded games.
Yeah. This kind of take will make him better in his good matchups and worse in his bad matchups.
And I think that's a fine place to be in Modern as well.
Yeah. So what you'll see Time players do is if they play all these reactive cards in the main, they're hedging. Whereas in Drake's spot, where he's just it's like Explorer, Farseeker, Colony Heart, and his answer is all of the above. He has all 3.
Yeah.
What that means is when you play against Jeskai, like, yes, you always have a ramp spell on turn 2, and you always have 2 more, and so when they spell snare it, like, fine, you play another.
Right.
It does mean then when you play against, say, Infect, which you might see in the finals, things get really miserable. You don't have anything to block.
Yeah. Yeah, just leaning pretty heavily on those 3 lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Not great. Chad on 6 here. See if he can keep this hand.
Yeah, Chad on 6.
I see mountain and cards that make you discard cards.
That's probably good enough.
It's hard to find a 5-card hand that does more than that. I think it's asking a lot to ask for more.
Street Wraith to start. Chad to 18. $16, okay. Now in territory, we'd love to find some hollow ones.
Yeah.
Here's Faithless Looting. Did he find any? He did not. Burning Inquiry, Lightning Bolt. This is the type of hand that Titan Shift could beat. There's not a threat in here yet.
Yeah. You see Harney has picked up a Goblin Lore, and he discards the Inquiry. He definitely would rather be casting the Lore.
So I'm on the Titan side when I see my opponent go through that much, and I just say, no hollow one, no hollow one, no hollow one, and they say, go, just huge sigh of relief.
Yeah. Oh, no. Hollow one was the draw for this turn. That's still fine. We can maybe lore into it.
Now we get to roll the dice.
You're right.
We get to see if we made a hollow one. Well, let's do it.
Open the box.
Chad down to 13 here.
Is the hollow one alive or dead?
So the hollow one's technically, right, it's a sarcophagus. That is, they're sarcophaguses that don't have a mummy in them, and then they've become reanimated through magic.
I was making a Schrodinger's cat reference.
Right. No.
Yeah. But
But now that we're talking about the plane of Amonkhet,
you keep at it with your thing.
I believe they are always. The question is, would a haunted sarcophagus be alive or dead? The question is part physics, part philosophy.
Well, you see, when it comes to Magic cards, I check the bottom right-hand corner, and if it has numbers, they're alive.
Do robots have a soul, Ryan?
Well, having a soul and being alive are like not synonyms, right?
Well, I don't know. I said it was part philosophy, part science. That's where we're going for here.
That's going to be a personal question.
Oh no, the hollow one. The goblins discarded it.
I'll tell you what the hollow one is. It's in the graveyard.
That's true. Well, that's where a sarcophagus belongs. Or in a tomb.
Yeah. And tombs and graveyards are pretty different.
Sacred Tribe for Drake Sasser. Chad has not made a threat yet.
Yes. Well, he drew a Flame Blade up
great.
Just in time to have already discarded 100 times. Yeah. It's not pretty.
Here's a creature. Here's a Burning Inquiry. Oh, Grimag Angler. Ooh. There we go. That does something.
It's a good one.
We'll see. What I'm interested to see here is whether Drake actually sacrifices this Tribe Elder. My opponent just made a Gurmag Angler. If I can get away with it, I would not sacrifice Tribe Elder.
Yeah.
It just depends on what's in his hand. Is there a meaningful punishment?
Right.
He'll take the land. And this is a shortcut they're agreeing to. Technically, you'd have to end step, upkeep, but you just do them at the same time.
Right.
No one cares.
You could spend as much time of your life shuffling as you want, but these shortcuts make the game a little less miserable.
Yeah. I'm interested to stacking them both because he can only get to 5 mana this turn. So what it is, 5 versus 4, usually that's the same?
I did spot an Anger of the Gods in hand. It could be Anger plus some other 2-mana spell. Clearing off the Flameblade Adept, something.
Okay. Yeah, if you're going to cast Anger anyway, then Tribelder's dead. Might as well.
Now, given the way the game's played out, how light on resources Harney is, it seems like the Sakura Tribelder blocking the Angler actually saves you more life here.
Than casting Anger.
Right.
Yeah. I think I agree. Anger of the Gods will still be cast. It's going to take care of Flameblade Adept. And, okay,
Ooh.
Lightning Bolt to finish off Angler from Drake. Yeah, love it.
It was a combo finish.
And then Valakut. I mean, it's a combo deck. I think the real combo finish is happening soon.
Yeah.
It's coming on up. Goblin lore again from Chad. The Goblins need to do a lot of work here. They draw 4 scrolls, and then they tear up 3 of them.
They're not big on working. They're mostly like to tell stories.
Burning Inquiry, land. Oh, he lets him do the 3rd one. It's a Gurmag Angler. That's why you never let your opponent pick one for you.
Yeah, that's the primary mistake.
Your hand has a Flameblade Adept and a Bloodghast in it. Okay, the Goblin lores from Chad have just been they've been horrible.
And this deck, it is very high variance. Resolving these spells, the outcomes, they can be wildly different. And honestly, when you look at Chad's tournament, 13-1, one at the time.
Yeah, it's about time.
Why couldn't I have lost this one in the Swiss,
Baloth from Drake. Right, you want to keep the Angler and discard the Flamewake Phoenix. That's a lot better than...
That's a minor upgrade.
Now, Drake missed here, too. He's stuck on 5 lands, 3 cards remaining in hand. He did make Obstinate Baloth, and really what's the problem here is that Drake just has too much time. Right, he's at 22. Yep. But Chad has some time to rebuild. He has to get a really big rebuild, but it's possible. Faithless Looting from Chad will discard that Flamewake Phoenix and a Bloodghast.
You got to figure he does not have that much time, and he has a lot of damage to deal.
I mean, we're at the point, Ryan, if this Bloodghast is back, that Drake could attack Chad to 8, and then this Valakut just plus 2 Rampant Growths could kill him.
I mean, the Baloth's currently lined up to attack for 4 3 times.
Yeah,
it's not clear that won't win the game.
Yeah, who cares about the Valakut triggers? Another Faithless Looting from Chad. Keeps building. And that's it. That's a pass. The rematch we were looking for, the 1-2, I think Drake Sasser is going to get in the way of that.
I mean, he's not really building. He's just kind of moving stuff around. He's accomplished having a Bloodghast. Nothing really going Chad's way in this game.
Eight Summoners pack from Drake. Primeval Titan, and that's the handshake. Drake Sasser comes back both sideboarder games, defeats Hollow One, and Titan Shift is on to the finals. Drake's 1 match away from his 2nd trophy of the year.